Are doctors to blame for the opioid crisis? I would say that they are partly to blame. The crisis is much bigger than patients who are on chronic pain medications. There's many people out there who are abusing opioids who were never prescribed it in the first place. These are people who are abusing it to treat their own pain, but also I think as a former drug user myself, an opioid user, that I was medicating my emotional pain. There's a lot of stress out there and poor functioning in stressful environments. And we tend to rely as a society in general on a quick fix. And the opioids did that for me as well. Physicians though, when it comes into treating patients with pain, yes, physicians are responsible for prescribing people, and some of these did progress to becoming addicted, and the responsibility is of the physician. This needs to be kept in mind with the history of this though. Back in around the year 2000, there were studies showing that one of the biggest concerns that patients had in hospital was that physicians were not taking their pain seriously, they were under-prescribing, and this led to major complaints. Now in the United States, quality metrics are measured for each physician. This is where patients are given questionnaires about the physician. A lot of physicians did not want to be docked on points here by upsetting patients by not giving them what they wanted with these prescriptions. So this is also some blame here is on the hospitals themselves and these metrics, forcing doctors into a customer service mentality. And that's not good when it comes to healthcare provider. They had it right before all of this. Physicians had it right that they knew that there's a balance of who should be prescribed, who shouldn't, who's prone, who's got a history of mental illness and previous addiction issues. These are the things that are now being brought to the forefront. So the history plays a part where doctors were apparently under-treating pain back in the year 2000, and the pendulums swung in the direction of overprescribing, and this is what set the groundwork for the current opioid crisis for people who were treated with chronic pain by their physician on opioids. I think a lot of physicians did not realize as well the high potential for developing an addiction, and this is where the pharmaceutical industry plays into the situation, because they too had a responsibility to let physicians know how truly addictive the opioids were. The opioids I'm speaking of here are the ones that were commonly prescribed, things like Vicodin, Percocet, and OxyContin. So it's a complicated story, and I just want to summarize that physicians are partly responsible, but there's also a large population of people out there who are abusing that had no contact with the physician whatsoever, that are relying on opioids as a way of, at first probably partying, but then these drugs are so insidious and so addictive and so strong that they soon become addicted to them and go through withdrawal if they don't take it. And so this perpetuates the cycle. It's very dangerous with the opioids. And I speak from personal experience. I've been there and I'm in long-term recovery. The mentality has changed now where physicians are trying their best to follow guidelines where there's an amount per day, a goal of 90 milliequivalents of morphine per day per patient. That would be the goal, and the physician should try to wean the patient down if possible, but this is a two-way street, and if the patient is going through a difficult time and not coping, then it needs to be documented by the physician, but clearly laid out that this person is not amenable to a rapid wean, but perhaps they would be open to it. So physicians are trying to improve the situation by not relying on opioids as first-line therapy, and if they are giving opioids, to give it preferably for a duration of 1 week. For people who are chronic pain patients, to wean them as much down off their opioids as possible, to try alternatives in addition to opioids. There's other analgesics, things like ibuprofen or Tylenol, and there's a whole host of other non-medical treatments that are important. Finally, there's an important part that a person needs to realize that the goal is not to completely eradicate pain, that people are going to suffer with pain, but try to minimize how much damage it causes. I hope that helps, and if you have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment in the comment box below.
If you or a loved one are looking for help with substance abuse, call our 24/7 helpline at 1-800-615-1067. A caring addiction advisor is awaiting your call. Helpline.